Welcome to Weekly World News on Spring Nectar TV, brought to you by Vibha Ramesh, Los Angeles, United States. First, the top headlines. Travel restrictions in the US to stay. 2 states mandate vaccine. Some fully vaccinated Britons can avoid quarantine. Call for impeachment of Brazilian president. Scientists from 4 countries brainstorm on new COVID drug. Olympics 2020, an overview. Over to news in detail. The rising number of infections, primarily caused by the Delta variant of the virus, has moved the United States government to retain the existing travel restrictions. To this effect, the White House confirmed its decision on Monday following a senior-level meeting held on Friday. In the words of White House spokesperson Jen Psaki, given where we are today with the Delta variant, we will maintain existing travel restrictions at this point. Driven by the Delta variant, cases are rising here at home, particularly among those who are unvaccinated, and appear likely to continue to increase in the weeks ahead, she said. The travel industry, however, is unhappy with the decision as plans to salvage summer travel have been deterred by the move, which may stay at least until September. Meanwhile, New York City and California became the first 2 regions to make vaccination compulsory for government staff. To this extent, an announcement was made on Monday that all government employees should either get fully vaccinated or undergo weekly COVID testing. While New York City requires all municipal workers, including teachers and police officers, to get double jabbed by mid-September, California requires proof of vaccination or weekly testing for all healthcare employees and state workers beginning next month. Further, the Department of Veterans Affairs urged its healthcare staff to get vaccinated. With the spike in coronavirus cases caused by the Delta variant, the announcement to mandate vaccination is expected to encourage the unvaccinated population to get inoculated. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden may mandate vaccination for federal employees, although it is still under consideration as of now. Washington, D.C. becomes the first city to reinstate indoor mask-wearing mandate irrespective of the vaccination status. The mandate will go into effect on Saturday. In another instance, a rare case of monkeypox exposure was identified in more than 200 people. Following the return of an individual who had contracted the disease, health officials are carefully monitoring over 200 people for the potential exposure to monkeypox. Initially discovered in 1958, monkeypox is similar to smallpox and causes symptoms such as fever, chills, muscle aches, and is accompanied by a rash. Contact tracing is underway as the CDC has connected with state and health authorities as well as airlines to identify individuals that may have come in contact with the infected person who traveled from Nigeria to Texas early July. Clay Jenkins, the Dallas County judge, remarked that while rare, this case is not a reason for alarm, and we do not expect any threat to the general public. Dallas County Health and Human Services is working closely with local providers as well as our state and federal partners. And news on the political front has it that major issues on the bipartisan infrastructure bill have been ironed out and the chamber may soon proceed on the bill. Moving on, the UK government is working towards recognizing COVID vaccines administered abroad. Currently, only those vaccinated by the National Health Service can skip quarantine when flying in from abroad. However, with the latest move, travelers that have been administered COVID vaccine overseas can avoid travel quarantine provided they register their inoculation with the NHS. Registration has to be done through a general physician practicing in the UK, and the vaccination taken must be Moderna, Pfizer-BioNTech, Janssen, or Oxford AstraZeneca. The move comes as a breather for thousands of British citizens who are either working or living abroad or have dual citizenship. Commenting on the move, the Vaccines Minister Nadeem Zahawi stated that by the end of this month, UK nationals who have been vaccinated overseas will be able to talk to their GP, go through what vaccine they have had, and have it registered with the NHS that they have been vaccinated. An official announcement of the move will be made by the end of this week. Over to France, lawmakers from the lower and upper houses of the parliament eventually arrived at a compromise leading to the decision to make vaccine passports a way of life. The move came into effect after over 160,000 rallies protesting against the rules and several arrests. Subsequently, President Macron officially announced that entry into nightclubs or cinemas, airplanes, and intercity trains will require furnishing of the health pass or a negative test report. News has it that the move was specifically aimed at increasing the vaccination rate in a bid to fight against the deadly virus. In order to possess a health pass, an individual should have been fully vaccinated by a recognized COVID vaccine or tested negative for the virus or has completely recovered from a recent COVID infection. Despite mass protests against the health pass, the move will go into effect on August 9th. And in Brazil, streets were thronged by protesters on Saturday demanding the impeachment of President Jair Bolsonaro. Corruption scandals against the president in the light of the pandemic are the primary triggers that led to the Saturday protests. The loss of over 500,000 lives to the pandemic due to the negligence of the president in imposing safety protocols has enraged the public. One of the protesters remarked, "I'm here because it is time to react to the genocidal government that we have that has taken over our country." And with elections set to take place next year, sources say that polls are already showing Bolsonaro losing to opponent Lula da Silva. Over to Lebanon. A year-long deadlock culminated on Monday with the nomination of billionaire tycoon and former Prime Minister of Lebanon, Najib Mikati, as the new Prime Minister. However, the nominee is not a popular figure among the public, owing to the reputation earned when serving as their Prime Minister for 2 terms. Besides having little success in reforming the country during his tenure, he holds charges of embezzlement, which he continues to deny. His nomination is the third since the resignation of Hassan Diab. Mikati now has to name a cabinet that is acceptable by the country's president and also win the approval of donor states. And in India, a collaborative effort from scientists from Brazil, India, Russia, and South Africa has been set in motion with the aim of researching new efficient drugs against COVID-19. To this effect, the combined efforts and experience of subject experts in the field of organic chemistry, bioinformatics, and drug screening is expected to be extremely beneficial in optimizing the healthcare system in BRICS nations. Meanwhile, statistics show that over 440 million Indians are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. The vaccination drive has enabled more people to be inoculated, and data has it that over 141 million people in the age group of 18 to 44 have received their first dose, while more than 6 million have received their second dose too. Further, efforts to test COVID vaccine on the younger population have been underway, and on Tuesday, the efforts moved to the next level. To that effect, the Central Drug Authority of India suggested issuing permission to the Serum Institute of India for vaccine testing on children falling in the age group of 2 to 17. Trials are expected to cover 450 children each in age groups 12 to 17 and 2 to 11 respectively. Statement from a reliable source read, "The Subject Expert Committee on COVID-19 deliberated on the revised study protocol application given by Serum Institute of India on Tuesday and recommended granting permission to the firm for conducting Phase 2 trial of Covovax on kids aged 2 to 17 years. Moving on, scientists have warned that a crucial group of G20 nations has committed to climate targets that would subsequently lead to dangerous levels of global warming. To that extent, they named Brazil, China, Russia, and Australia as having energy policies that are sure to lead to a heating hike that is detrimental to the planet as a whole. While the COP26 summit pledged to cancel any climate policy that exceeded global heating over 1.5 Celsius, the 4 nations in question continue to support fossil fuel burning, which scientists warn would up global warming by 5 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, a UN Special Rapporteur has warned that Myanmar could be the next super spreader of COVID as the state faces dangerous outbreaks across several parts of the nation. The military coup in February has brought about a severe outbreak, coupled with the suspension of the country's vaccination drive, collapse of its testing program, and barely functioning government hospitals. Fear of military violence has pushed doctors to refuse treatment for patients in state hospitals and are being compelled to treat patients in a discreet manner. News has it that with little to no testing, the exact number of infections and fatalities remain unclear. Ending this week's bulletin with a quick review of the Summer Olympics. The Games swung into motion last Saturday after a year of contemplation and uncertainty caused by the pandemic. Unlike the earlier Olympic Games, this year a large percentage of the world population watched the Games from their homes. Interestingly, even the host nation had nearly half of its population watch from home. That being said, the Olympics dashboard as of Thursday had China and Japan in the lead with 15 gold each, followed by United States with 14. The Russian Olympic Committee and Australia are in the 4th and 5th position with 8 gold medals each. We'll keep you posted on the Games and the country standings in the days to come. With that, we come to the end of this week's news bulletin. Watch the space for weekly world news on Spring Nectar TV. Thank you for watching.